Welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. My name is Connor Williams, and this is a 24/7 news report video. There's a lot going on today, so we'll start with the headline news because there's a lot to get through. And the headline news for this evening's video is that Farhad Moshiri has stated the club is not for sale. Despite rumours that it is, he has said it's not. So the Guardian broke that Farhad Moshiri had put Everton up for sale and is looking for more than 500 million. A number of potential buyers have expressed interest. Moshiri would like to recoup the money he's invested in the stadium. That was from the Guardian. Since then, Farhad Moshiri has done a pre-recorded interview, basically saying a lot of stuff, and I'll read a few quotes out. But he sort of says that he's loyal to Everton, and that he's fully committed to Everton Football Club. And I'll read you through a couple of more quotes of Farhad Moshiri's, but it's been one of those days. I think that's the main one here. It's been one of those days. Absolutely crazy, absolutely mental, sort of 12 hours from the Danjuma stuff, which we'll get on to all of Farhad Moshiri. So yeah, like I said, he met with the EFC fan advisory board after the reports that he was looking to sell the club broke. He said, "I am committed to this club, not just this stadium, but to join the elite. But I need your help. The fans are the most important part of Everton's institution. We need to get through this together. We need a striker. We'll get one. We'll strengthen the team. I have no doubts the second half of the season will be stronger. Our goal is to never be in the bottom three. Our ambition is to play European football. We haven't succeeded today, but we laid out the foundations for it." He then goes on to say, I said I asked for patience, and I've said I've been impatient and being so affected and responsive with fans' feelings that maybe I've removed some managers too early, and that's my criticism, not the fans. But I say to this fans that we should all be a bit more patient. And then he finally said the club is not for sale. So yeah, it looks like he's not selling. Also, he says anyway, but then he said he backed Lampard and then and then sacked Lampard. So I don't know how much you can actually trust Farhad Moshiri. Again, having a swipe at the manager's sackings early, mentioned the fans and stuff like that, which isn't brilliant. I'd love to know what the foundations are, because he says all this, but he interferes too much. He is one of the worst owners in the football in the top of the flight. Jamie Carragher was right. We are one of the worst run, and he is one of the big problems. I was actually buzzing to hear that he was selling, and then gutted to hear this. He says, we've got to be together, but it's just not good enough. It's not good enough. He said, I hear you loud. I share your pain. I'll deal with it. When asked about blaming fans, he said, I asked for patience and stuff like that. So he is doubling down a little bit on the fan stuff, but it's one of them. He said that unless you secure stadium income, you'll always have financial fair play problems. The stadium was never a luxury, it's a necessity, which we all agree with. I think he's just tried to calm it down, but I don't think he realizes that. For me personally, I think the damage is done, and I think the relationship with him and the fans, especially, but with the whole board and the fans, is just smashed to pieces after the headlock fiasco. The fact he's not shown up at an Everton game for 18 months, I genuinely think the damage has been done at Everton Football Club. But with the fans and him, I don't think the fans will ever rejoice in him again. Yeah, so I really do struggle to see where Farhad Moshiri comes back from all of this. It really is absolutely mind-blowing. We also have the news that Danjuma was hijacked. We had our own sort of reports as well that said at about 1 o'clock that this was going to happen. Peter O'Rourke as well, to be fair to him, had published it as well, and he was quite early on. But we heard from about 1:30 rumblings, then In the Nose and other journalists copied. From what I can gather, the club didn't really do anything wrong. Danjuma just changed his mind at the last minute. I saw a couple of West Ham fans were talking about Danjuma, saying he doesn't want David Moyes as manager. And apparently that stems because he was going to sign for West Ham. And Moyes met him and said, no, I don't like his personality. Doesn't seem like a good egg. David Moyes is notorious for meeting players before he signs them. He said it in the CEO diaries. It was a really good interview. I recommend you check it out. He mentions his time at Everton, obviously, in the United job and the sort of turmoil, sort of the dilemma it caused him. But he says he meets players, and apparently he didn't like Danjuma or the cut of him. Danjuma's obviously took that to heart. And now looking at it, you sort of can believe that, because I think Danjuma has just waited and gone, nah, I don't want to do this. I'm going to Spurs now. Which in that case, maybe we don't want him at the club. Maybe that's not the type of character we need. It does leave us in a tough spot, though, where, there's rumours Gordon might be leaving. We need wingers and we need a manager quickly. But yeah, it looks like we've lost out to Danjuma to Spurs. Fabrizio Romano confirmed it as well. A couple of other journalists confirmed it. I think Paul Joyce and a couple of In the Nose and big Twitter accounts confirmed it as well. But in terms of actual journalists, Peter O'Rourke got it out very early, which fair play to him, because he also announced Lampard leaving. I know that was obvious that he was going to get sacked yesterday, but he announced it at least 3 hours before the other journalist did, and a whole 6 hours before the club did. So yeah. We also have that Marcelo Bielsa has serious reservations about joining Everton. It remains to be seen if they can persuade Bielsa or move to possible other candidates. That's come from Sammy Mockbell of the Daily Mail. We also have from Mockbell, Sam Allardyce has held initial talks with Everton about returning to the club. Allardyce still has admirers from key figures at Everton due to his experience of guiding the teams threatened by relegation to safety. We did run a poll saying, would you take Sam Allardyce at Everton? 7,372 of you voted. 27.7% said yeah. 9.8% said I don't know. Myself and 62.5% said absolutely not. I don't like, if this happens, I think my love for Everton is dwindling this season and last season, but that will be not gone. But I can't see me wanting to watch many of our games with him at the helm. It was getting tough watching him under Lampard, but with him under the helm. But I do think he saves us. Personally, he's had a go and he's not a nice character. If you're going to give it to somebody like that, then Sean Dyche hasn't had to go. But either way, people aren't going to be happy because they're not the most ambitious. But I do think both of them men keep us up. It's just interesting that the board don't want Dyche, but they want Allardyce. Really interesting that. We also have from the Mail Sport that Marcelo Bielsa told Everton the team are too slow to play the way he wants, and they must prioritise signing fast players in defensive areas before the window closes if he's to replace Lampard. I'm glad that between him and Moshiri, one of them has a brain. This has been my criticism of Bielsa. I don't think we have the players for his style. And at least Bielsa is man enough to go, you don't, and I don't want to manage you if you've not got the players, the personnel for me. He's not going to take it for the payday. He's clearly thinking, am I going to work there? No, I don't want it then, which is apparently what he does at most clubs. Paul Joyce also added that Everton believe the feedback from Bielsa on becoming Everton's next manager was positive. Bielsa, though, has concerns about the state Everton are in, and convincing him to accept the job it might be more problematic. That's classic Everton, that thinking it all went really well, while the man that they're trying to get going, it didn't go well. That's classic Everton. Paul Joyce also added Sean Dyche has been sounded out. However, there's reluctance to appoint him. West Brom manager Carlos Corberán, I'm going to pronounce it as, is a candidate for the role. Fad Moshiri's remain in contact with Sam Allardyce. Blows my mind. There is a reluctancy to hire Dyche, but Sam Allardyce is free, absolutely brilliant. I don't know enough about Carlos Corberán either, but I do say this. How do you go from Marcelo Bielsa So your plan B being Sam Allardyce. They don't play the same style. This has been the biggest critique of Moshiri with his managers. Pick a style and a brand and build a team. So when you change the manager, it's like for like. We're going from one extreme style to another every manager. It's absolutely crazy. We have we also have some bad news in that Chelsea and Arsenal are interested in Amado Onana. That's come from Nizar Kinsella, who is a journalist in his own right for Chelsea, Fulham, in England for the Standard Sport. A little bit worrying. He didn't appear at Finch Farm today either, Onana, apparently, but apparently that's because he's been given time off. Read into that what you will. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Miguel Delaney has said Everton are considering Sam Allardyce on a short-term option until the summer if Bielsa rejects. Absolutely mental. That's crazy. It's once again a repeat of the Silva before the Silva era. And we also have that Alan Myers has said Ralph Hasenhüttl is under consideration as well. Again, a manager that has a completely different style of play, doesn't really suit the squad, but he's completely different to the names being touted. There's no forward thinking here. We also have the news that Anthony Gordon is wanted by Newcastle. Luke Edwards of the Telegraph says that Newcastle are growing confident they'll beat Chelsea to sign Anthony Gordon and are keen to move him to Newcastle. And Matt Law of the Daily Telegraph said that Newcastle are very confident that the deal could be done very soon. Like I said, Onana did miss Finch Farm, but apparently he was given the time off. Anthony Gordon also wasn't there either. Matt Law also said Chelsea backed up the Chelsea and Arsenal interest in Onana, who's a very good player. Adding on with that, Graham Bailey said that Everton want 50 million for Onana amid the interest. And like I said, Vinny O'Connor said that both of them, Anthony Gordon and Onana, were missing in training today. But they were both planned absences, so given time off. We did run a poll about Anthony Gordon as well to finalise. Would you take 25 mil plus 15 on add-ons? 4,735 of you voted. 59.2% said yeah. 11.4% said I don't know. 29.5% said no. I think most of the fan base have realised he's not kicked on as much as we've hoped and might be looking to get rid of him. But that is all we got time for. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and comment down below your thoughts on anything I've discussed. It has been an absolutely mad day. The news, it's been absolutely mental. It's been a bit tough to keep hold of, changing every minute. Every time I go to do a video, something else pops up. So it has been a bit mad. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and I'll see you guys probably tomorrow for another jam-packed video.